Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale with a very special guest. I'm so excited to have Flobby on the channel. Flobby, how you doing, man?
I'm great. Hey Ash, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to talk to you about beatdown decks because you are known. I mean, I get so many requests for you to come on the channel, dude. You are like the beatdown god. Let's start out by asking you a little bit about yourself as a player. Like, when did you know you were like really good at the game, specifically beatdown decks? And where are you right now? Do you continuously improve, or do you feel like you kind of cap out as a golem player?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I joined Munich Warriors. I think the best clan or the best German clan for a long time, and yeah, right now still. And yeah, I realized that I'm not that bad. And then the scene with the max accounts pushing began, and I also tried myself on a max account, and I did quite well. And I improved with one deck, with the Golem deck, and like some cards always change, but I always played Golem. And then I finished like top 20 one season, and I realized I can get much higher, and I can get always there. And yeah, I tried next seasons, and I was kind of just a ladder player. And then before the Gamergy Masters, I joined an esports team because I had a contact there. And yeah, then I qualified, and that was just amazing.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on your success. You are definitely one of the success stories of a player who is known as a ladder player first, and then became a really prominent tournament player as well on tournament level standard. So congratulations on your success. I do want to ask you about maybe like some of those turning points in your evolution as a golem player. Like maybe there were some things that, because you said you keep improving. So I'm curious onto maybe we can uncover some of those secrets that took you to the next level or one notch up on the ladder of skill. Before we get to that, I do have to ask you about the controversial finish in the Gamergy Masters tournament over this past weekend. I think everybody knows by now what happened, but why don't you, if you're okay with it, why don't you kind of break down what happened between you and Surgical Goblin in the finals, and maybe tell us about, like, you know, if you're okay, where you're at right now mentally. Like, are you okay with it? Are you bitter? Tell us a little bit about what happened.
I'm totally okay after this. It was such an amazing tournament. I mean, I qualified, like, I thought about one day before the qualifier to take part in the qualifier, and then I took part, and I just won the qualifier. I couldn't believe it. And then I drove to Madrid to the Gamergy Masters with my team, and I just wanted to win the first game. That was what I tried to get, so that I play on Saturday and not just on Friday. And yeah, I just won the game 3-2. It was very close against Pepe. He was also a very amazing player. And then I beat the world champion. And I still can't really realize that, because I mean, it's the world champion, and he played just amazing at the world championship. And
yeah, Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, that was just amazing. I'm still speechless, like you see.
You're so humble, man.
And then I played against Pompeo, and that was so close because he knew I will play Golem, and he tried to counter me. And I played it in the first match and the last match, and the Rockets were so close. And then I got to the final, and my dream of a final was against Surgical Goblin, because he was always the best player for me in the world. Still after the World Championship, because he won like all tournaments before. And then in the third game, the thing happened that the referee did kind of a mistake, because he said we won't do a rematch. And yeah, there was just from the rules, they said you can do rematch or give the win based on the game status, but there's no really mistake from Surgical or me, because whatever a player does in such a situation, always the referee has to do the right solution, or has to find the right thing in the situation. And that was the problem in this case, because he kind of made a mistake. But in the end, Surgical won the next two games, and it was just fair play, because we were allowed to change deck, and he did it, and I didn't do it, and that was all fine. And after that, the Gamergy Masters came to me, the LVP boss came to me and said that I will get the wildcard so I can play in the next tournament, in the finals, because it was kind of a mistake by the referee, but it wasn't illegal because it says you can do the rematch or that. So in the end, I'm just happy how it gone, and I'm second place of Gamergy Masters, so I shouldn't be sad about it.
You certainly have nothing to be ashamed of or sad about, because you did so well, as you said, beating Pepe and Pompeo and Sergio Ramos. Unbelievable to get to the finals. So the situation that you talked about there was that there was a Wi-Fi blip or something at the very end of the match with like 11 seconds or so left in the match, and you ended up losing, or you ended up drawing on a match or throwing away that match that otherwise you clearly would have won. There was only like 150 hit points left on Surgical's tower, and you had like over 1,500 on yours. So one follow-up question on that, and then we'll move into the strategy, because I really want to hear about your tips for beatdown decks. But one more question is, I did hear, I think a lot of the controversy on the whole Surgical is a cheater, a lot of people are saying that the admins told you that Surgical has asked for a rematch. It was Surgical Goblin was the one who requested the rematch, not the admins. Was that the case, or is that misinformation?
No, he didn't ask for a rematch, or they didn't say that he asked for a rematch. They just said to me, and one of the guys said to me that Surgical said the rules would say rematch, but he also doesn't know really what to do in this situation, and the referee then decided that he can't give me the win because the rules say a rematch. So it wasn't like that he requested for that, but he kind of said a guy to me. But still, it's whatever a player does in such a situation, the referee has to decide on his own, and maybe decide with the team or with something in the back. And that was just the bad thing on that.
Yeah, I totally understand. At the end of the day, it was just a really unfortunate situation, and the onus, in my opinion at least, should definitely be on the referee there, and they dropped the ball. But anyway, congratulations on your success. It was a pleasure to watch you in that tournament. It was a lot of fun, man. You did so well. So let's do some live matches while we ask you a little bit about these Golem decks. How are you at playing and answering my annoying questions at the same time? You think you can handle that?
Yeah, sure. I can handle it.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and hop on. You have the ladder account and your main account. What one do you want to do first? Do you want to do a challenge match first?
Yeah. We do a challenge first.
Yeah, hop in whenever you're ready, man.
Yep. Well, I don't find an enemy in a challenge right now. Okay, I have it.
Here we go. So is the deck that you're playing right now the one that you normally prefer? Is this like your favorite version of Golem with the baby dragon and the lumberjack and tornado?
Yeah, right now it's my favorite version because I played the Rocket a long time ago, but right now it's better to play without Rocket because it's too expensive and not that good in the meta.
Okay. While you have a little bit of downtime here, talk a little bit about early game strategy for you as a Golem player. How much damage are you comfortable taking, and what are you trying to do? Oh boy, this guy's aggressive.
Yeah, this boy's aggressive. I cycled a Zap to just get to the pump, and then I react to the enemy. So yeah, he played quite offensive, so I just defend, and yeah, now I have elixir advantage, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So at this point, are you gonna repump, or are you gonna opt for a golem push? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I always do, because if I'm in an elixir advantage, it doesn't matter if you are in double elixir or not. It's always quite good to play golem, I think. Many players are doing this different, but always also in the Gamergy Masters event, I always played golems in the start or in the early time of a match, and many players were thought that was not good, but I won many games with golem, and yeah.
Yeah, you sure did. So that's like the first tip that I would say differentiates yourself with a normal golem player, is that instead of opting early game to keep pumping and pumping and pumping, if you have that elixir advantage, even if you don't have a pump on the arena, you're going to play the golem, right?
Yeah, but you need this elixir advantage, and if you have a feeling for it, it's quite good.
What are you keeping track of in your head throughout these matches? Like, what are you paying attention to?
Just just to defend
Yep.
and then play offense. I mean, it's not that I think about it before what to play, because I played so many games with Golem. It's kind of a routine. But yeah, it's just to react of the enemy and then do a counter push, and then
Tell me sorry, go ahead.
I definitely use many offensive tornadoes. That's key of my gameplay.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the order that you drop your supporting troops behind your golem, and what decides that.
If my enemy has like a tornado fireball or tornado rocket, I make sure that I don't place it in the same kind of lane. So I play the Mega Minion on the right and the Baby Dragon in the middle on the right, so that it's all on the same tower, but it's not in the same positioning, so that they don't have it so easy to just take all my troops down. And
Okay.
I play like always Golem Nightwitch if it's possible, and then I defend. I support it with air troops, so with the Baby Dragon and the Mega Minion. And sometimes if I play like against Inferno Dragon or P.E.K.K.A, I play the Lumberjack before my Golem, so it will sure die quietly, quite fast. But I have the Rage spell, and that's, in many situations, it's very useful.
Okay. Do you want to play another match on Flobby, or want to switch to the Karar?
Yeah, let's switch to Kara.
Okay, sounds good. So let me just make sure I have that right, because I'm a poor listener. Pretty bad skill for an interviewer. No, but seriously, so oftentimes it depends on what spell your opponent has, how you're going to support your golem. And
Yeah.
you want to make sure you get a nice spread on the troops, even if they're at the same tower. That way they can't all be hit by tornado, poison, whatever. And then on top of that, you're oftentimes going to drop your lumberjack a little bit ahead of the golem so that everybody can rage together.
Yeah, that's quite
Okay.
what I said. Yeah,
Yes, and we're into a match here.
yeah.
All right. So, what would be the best starting play besides pump in this deck?
Beside pump, I don't really think there's a good hand to start, because if you don't have pump, you should react to your enemy.
Okay.
So there, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if the enemy will place a minion horde, it's always good to have the Baby Dragon, and if he has like a giant, you need to have a lumberjack or a night witch. But so it depends, yeah.
Okay.
Like the pump is always the best start, but if not, you have to react to the enemy.
Okay. I missed the fireball there. What would you
Yeah.
say is a misnomer or a common mistake that you think that other beatdown players make, other golem players especially, that they make a lot that you kind of recognize? Is there anything like that sticks out to you?
Yeah, maybe many golem players don't support the golem if it's kind of late, because if the golem is on the tower and the enemy doesn't have so much elixir, I always play like spam my troops behind that and still want to get to the tower even if the golem is quite low. And many players just let the golem die there. So that's maybe one point.
Okay, so like even if the golem has already split into golem,
Like right now,
Yep.
right now, maybe the players wouldn't play a card and just let the golem do, but if the enemy has a tornado, he can put it to the king tower, and I always support it so that I make sure the tower will go down.
Okay, so always support your golem, and then it causes them to spend more elixir defending their king tower too, oftentimes, I imagine.
Yeah, often the king tower is also going down because the enemies don't realize that the night witch behind the mini golems is doing so much damage.
Talk a little bit about, Flobby, about how much damage you're willing to take onto a tower early game. Obviously, being a beatdown deck, you shine in double elixir time, so are you comfortable just losing a whole tower? How do you decide how much to defend against?
Yeah, that's one of my play styles. So it happened quite often that I let a tower just go down to have a bigger push in the other lane. Like right now, I just defended with a tornado. I mean, he got some damage, but I can do a very big push. And right now, I let the tower go down. It doesn't really make sense to defend because he will get the tower anyways. At least one hit with the Hog Rider and then a fireball. So I just go offensive and try to get the next tower. and yeah.
And it works just like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really one of the biggest points of my plays, that I take damage and then make a bigger push.
How about like an early push? Like that situation was pretty obvious in terms of, okay, give him the right tower. It doesn't really matter. But what about like really early on? Maybe against, I don't know, a bait deck or something like that. Like they send in a Goblin Barrel. Are you comfortable just using Zap and taking like 500 damage or like very early on in the match? Or are you still going to defend enough to mitigate like that damage early on?
I sometimes take 500 damage. It depends on the matchup. It really depends on the matchup. So against Lockbait, for example, you can take damage, but I would defend if I wouldn't have a Golem on my field. But if I have a Golem, I can just let like 500 damage of my other tower. That's okay.
Awesome. Flobby, before I let you go, you've been an amazing guest. I can already tell this is going to be a lot of viewers' favorite video, maybe of all time on CWA. I wanted to ask you 2 cards in the deck, Lumberjack and Night Witch. If people don't have those or they're not leveled up for ladder, what would you recommend substituting for those 2 cards?
It's kind of hard because the Night Witch is a key in this deck, but you could play like Mini Packer for the Lumberjack, definitely.
Okay.
And you also could play like Electro-Wizard maybe for the Night Witch. But it really depends. I mean, if you don't have this deck like it is right here, you maybe should think about a big spell.
Okay.
But yeah.
So perhaps maybe like a Rocket or Poison or something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, any other tips that we didn't cover that you think are important for my viewers to know, Flobby, or did we pretty much get a pretty comprehensive review of this?
Maybe we should go to a replay of against Lockbait, just to see some plays, because it's here and it's in the chat.
Oh, I already played it. Let's we can still review it though. Let's watch it and review.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm paused at the beginning.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
Yep.
Yeah, so just maybe talk us through your decisions here. You have
it's like
bad starting hand.
Yeah, I just think I react in this situation, so I wait for his play and then play a counter. Yeah, he played a Goblin Barrier and I saw it's behind my tower, so I can just tornado it to the King Tower. That's quite nice for a start. Mm-hmm. And I knew I don't have a lock, so I really have to think how to play, because he can just put like Knight, Goblin Barrel, and the Goblin Gang in one lane, and it's really hard to defend that if I don't have a Zap or Tornado, and if I'm low at Elixir.
So how are you handling that in your, like, what would you do in that situation?
I just wait for double Elixir, so I just defend. I just play troops in the bag and let him rocket my pumps to make sure that the time is going on, and then. Yeah, on double Elixir I will drop a Golem, and then I will see if I defend the other tower and how hard and whatnot. But yeah, it's also like, it really depends this matchup if the enemy has a Tornado or an Inferno Tomb. If he has an Inferno Tomb, I really just play Golem in double Elixir, and right now I knew that he has the Tornado, and then I played the Golem earlier just to check out what happens, because I know that I can make big damage, but you see that he will defend that really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is pretty much, this is not going to result in a ton of damage, but you're just keeping the pressure on to get to double Elixir time.
Yeah, and sometimes it also happens that I can use a nice offensive or a Tornado, and then I can get much damage also early time with that deck.
Nice.
But right now it wasn't happening.
Yeah, for sure.
There I missed kind of the Zap, but I knew it was behind the tower, but I thought it was like not that far behind the tower.
Is there ever a time that you'll pump up in double Elixir time, or is that very rare for you?
That's very rare, yeah, that's very rare. There I knew that I have to kind of defend that, and I had a bad rotation, so I had to use the Tornado first. But I knew I can defend that, so that he can't just use a rocket for my tower. And then I just wanted to make a big push and destroy his tower. so that
Do you stagger your troops, Flobby, in terms of when you know they have a big spell like that? Even if you have the elixir, do you wait for the spell first and then
Yeah.
drop? Okay.
Yeah, it often happens that I know he has a rocket, I wait, and after the rocket or the fireball, I just put all my troops. And I knew he had to defend that, and he tried, but he didn't really get it. They missed kind of the zap, but it doesn't matter, and I won.
That last baby dragon breath takes it down.
Yeah. That could be hard. If the baby dragon didn't hit the tower, that could be maybe hard in this matchup, but yeah.
Yeah, well, man, I think that I can't wait to go ahead and try out this deck now myself after all those tips, man. I hope I can be maybe even half as successful as you, and I think it'll be a big win. So just wanted to thank you again, man. Congratulate you on your Gamergy performance, and thank you again for coming on the channel, man. It's been a real pleasure for me.
Yeah, also for me, that was it's really nice, yeah. Thanks.
All right, man. We'll go ahead and include your Twitter information, any other shout-outs, anything like that before we let you go?
Hello, Team Clash, my team. But yeah.
All right, shout out to Team Clash. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll have you on soon again.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
No problem. Guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this interview with Flobby. I really did. Make sure you check out my YouTube partner, Bren Chong, in the description below. Also, huge shout out to Bennett, my YouTube sponsor of the day. Bennett, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, thanks so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.